Go live. Okay. Well, we're
And
live.
we're live, baby. What a union. We have on the left corner the one and the only Nadine Barakat. And on the right top corner, Mansour Ashkar, the one and the only. Good evening, Hebros and Shibros. Shavua Tov. Hi, everybody. How are you doing,
How are
Mansour?
you?
I'm doing very well, and we are very excited to have a special guest today. That I can't just. So I'm gonna stop right now because I want to start talking what she have to say. Maybe I will take a little bit just to say she's a special guest from Lebanon, and she is a very known voice in the Lebanese, atmosphere there. A big critic of a lot of the wrongdoing that is going right there with the government, with a lot of social injustice that is going, and we are super excited. So I spoke too much. Let's bring the mic to her.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me. It's a very special day, anyway, today. Lot of action today in Lebanon.
What is happening?
The Druze side is, I mean, Lebanon is always in action, but the Druze side is really bad lately, the past week.
All right, maybe for the people to understand, can you tell us a little bit who you are? Because most people in Israel might not necessarily know.
So I'm an activist. I'm Druze, Lebanese. I live in Washington. Came to Washington in 2014. Been here for 11 years. Not allowed to be in the country back home since 2022, I think. Because I'm a loud voice and because I expose all the corrupt and wrongdoing and injustice. So basically, criminals live in Lebanon and I'm not allowed.
Wait,
So
That's
wait,
who I
wait,
am.
wait.
just there's another way to Nadine to introduce herself. Just ask her how many lawsuits she has against her on her name from Hezbollah and their allies.
1396 based on the latest news. 1396, 1396
You told me
complaints.
39.
Yeah, I told
Well,
you
well,
It's
it's crazy.
1396.
1,396.
But last week there was one from Hezbollah actually. It was an official, like super official one. So I think we're at 1397 now.
No,
And
he's
with
counting.
one court order without me being even in the know that there's a lawsuit by a Jumblat MP.
Wait,
So
wait,
there's
wait,
a
wait,
court order basically.
wait. You want to tell me that in Lebanon they persecute free thinkers and women that share what they think about the government? Really?
Yes. So the first one who started it was Sheikh Al the Druze Sheikh Al and Walid Jumblat. Yep. That
He
was the first
started.
22. It was a
Wow.
set of 22 lawsuits, 2022. That's how it started. And
What
then
are
they
they?
kept coming.
What are they accusing you for?
Well, there's a hospital. It's owned by the Druze. He took it over, and there was a lot of during COVID. There was a lot of malpractice and fraud, corruption. So he basically robs the Ministry of Health, robs the hospital, robs the donations by the U.S. Druze, and then when any Druze goes to the hospital, you have to go to him to get the support, the financial support. Basically, he's stealing three parties, and you're paying for the bill, yet you're getting the 50% from him. That's how he gets his vote. That's how he gets people to basically be loyal to him. So I exposed the whole thing and I was able to get from insiders like the financial sheets, the everything. So I was able to get insiders there, and that's when he called me a hacker. And then Sheikh Al considered me basically a traitor to Lebanon and to
Let-
the Druze. So they started attacking me basically and threatening my family, threatening my sisters, threatening me, my husband, like everybody. So I decided that, and not to mention that they even like made fake videos, like a bad image of me, articles, like all you think about. But I decided to keep going.
Wow.
No, I think we need just to give a perspective to people who don't live in Lebanon. What does it mean when the spiritual leader of your community basically allows everybody to basically dehumanize you in a way, like you're saying you're not Druze, you're not part of the community, so it's almost a social death sentence that it puts upon you, and you did it by basically whistleblow what they are, their corruption, and trying to expose what they are doing. And people don't know it maybe, but starting from 2005, when they assassinated Rafiq al-Hariri, the prime minister, the legendary prime minister of Lebanon, and they moved on assassinating or killing any political person or a threat, and they occupied the whole judicial system,
Yes.
corruption and things like that. Like when I talked to Mansour, I said she has a crazy number of lawsuits because here in Israel, even one or two is too
Even
much
one
to
is
bear.
insane. Yeah,
I know.
I need lawyers, I need things. And now when you are part of a community, a tribal community, like the Druze clan in a way, and they Druze you, that's horrible. This is why you live in the United States. This is the price you had to pay in order to keep to your truth and speak truth about what their practices.
Well, they
yeah.
actually forced my family to disown me in a statement. They wanted a public statement of the family disowning me, and part of the family did actually, which I truly do. I truly got to a point where I really don't care what happens. I'm gonna tell the truth and bother you so long as I'm alive, and this is not gonna stop me. Just to be since I have the privilege, since I have the luxury of being away, then I'm gonna use it to stand up for them, so I can break the taboo. So basically, when I used to post something, they used to prosecute anyone who likes a post, any Druze who likes a post. So I used to have messages like, "We love what your content, but we cannot like it because we're gonna."
My.
They called a sheikh to the court, to the police station, because, and they checked his phone and they're like, "Are you talking to her?" I'm like, it doesn't say anything in the constitution that I'm a, like you know what I mean, like I'm not a threat to the country, like you can't talk to me, right? But Jumblat uses Hezbollah's power. Hezbollah's power. I told them, and I said it many times on Twitter. Walid Jumblat is Hassan Nasrallah Druze version.
That is
That's what he
crazy.
is.
The first time that I got to, in Israel, we heard about Walid Jumblat, but we didn't really care that much. But after what happened in Syria and after what happened with the pagers in Lebanon, a lot of Israelis, the Jewish people in Israel, they love the Druze. And they think that all the Druze are, appreciating Western civilization, appreciating freedom, appreciating tolerance between religions. And obviously, if you're a Druze, you will not like Hezbollah and their likes, because they are the complete opposite. They oppress women, they oppress other religions, they persecute. They represent everything that in many Israelis' viewers and also, Westerns, was exactly the opposite of the Druze, because the Druze is known to be a very open religion that welcome a lot of other,
Absolutely.
welcome conversations between every religion. If you walk into a Druze village in Israel and you're a Christian or you're Jews, you shouldn't hide it, because people will get excited. People will literally come and will start talking to you and say, yes, we believe in that too. We
Yep.
believe in Sidna al-Masih. We believe in Nabi Musa. They love these things. But then we started seeing what's going on. Is the Druze in Lebanon supporting Hezbollah? And then I went on a podcast and I was talking to an American Druze from Lebanon. And not only he was supporting Hezbollah, he was denying the Holocaust. He was supporting Iran. And in
He's
the
a
beginning,
Jumblati. He's a Jumblati.
yeah, he's a Jumblati. That's what I realized later.
Of
I
course.
didn't even know these Druze exist.
Yeah, before
Well, I'll
we
tell you
get
something. We didn't know that Druze, like, and I said it many times, and I said it so many times, especially lately. I'm like, we did not know our identity until this social interaction happened between Israeli Druze and Lebanese Druze, even Syrian Druze. This interaction on social media led us to recognize our identity, because we had a lost identity. We did I felt like, I'm like, what is going on? Like, why is the sheikh supporting this? Like, why is the sheikh being quiet? Just like you said, the Sheikh Al-Aqil, why are you okay with stealing and killing Druze in a hospital? Why are you supporting corrupt? Why can I? Because before I even went on publicly with the corruption, I messaged Sheikh Al-Aql and I told him, I know that you're a new Sheikh Aql and I know you're gonna support me. I reached out to him first. And the second day, I get a threat from one of his puppets, and he's like, "You better cook and take care of the kids. Like that's more important than That's exactly what he said.
Seriously?
Yes, like my job is to cook and take care of my family, and I have nothing to do. Like, what do you have to do with our Lebanese hospitals? I'm like, dude, you guys ask for donations from us. We pay $40,000 a month. He's stealing them. So why do you ask for my vote? You ask for my money, and then if I ask you where is my money, then I'm supposed to be go cook. Like,
Wow.
it's
Before
insulting. They are insulting to the religion, to the community, and to the Lebanese. That's what they are.
Wow.
I just want to say, like, the past few weeks, you were truly focused on what's happening on Syria, and we're gonna touch base on that and see how the Druze in Lebanon see it. But just to give a perspective again, you're talking with us because I'm Israeli, Mansour is Israeli. So basically, this simple thing, like you Druze, I'm Druze, he's Druze, speaking together is something beyond imagination. If you were in Lebanon, like what would it be if you were now in Lebanon speaking to us?
Well, listen, for
You're
like for me, it's
infidel.
different. I don't need to speak to you to be in jail, but I'm a different. It's a different animal.
This
But
will
I'll
be
tell you
the
something.
1398 reason to take you to jail.
Who cares? But I'll tell you
Oh,
something. So let's start with one thing. Noura Jumblat, Walid's wife, is half Israeli. Her grandma on the mom's side is Israeli, leftist, far leftist. Okay, she was forced to marry
that
Syrian.
explains a lot, by the way.
Not surprising.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, she is ever since what's his name?
Those
Winston.
merit bastards.
Oh yeah, before 1948, like her grandma, her great grandma and her grandma are Israeli. Okay, but she is initially, I think, close to Russia. Like initially, she's like somewhere there, like originally, but they lived in Israel, and then she was forced to marry Sharabati, her mom, and then her aunt is married to Halim Khaddam, the Syrian regime guy. So basically, that I mean, he cannot talk about Israel. He should not be talking about Israelis because we do know that PSP trained in Israel and we do know what he did. He cannot defend Muslims and Sunnis because he killed Muslims and Murabitun back in the days. You know what I mean? So Walid Jumblat flips. He's a flip flop.
Walid Jumblat, I'm sorry to say, the way he's behaving lately is a joke. And probably before I didn't listen. While he's trying to condemn Israel and persecute women, brave women from Lebanon who are trying to speak against corruption, you know what Israel is doing with Druze women? We just had teenager girls Druze from the village of Yarka send a satellite to
That's what I
space.
told him. That's what I told him.
So in
Like,
Israel, women
yeah.
are sending satellites to space and are
Well, we
going
fly
freely.
elephants. We fly
Yes.
elephants in the sky. That's what he does. Like it's lie. That's what he does. And I told them this. I'm like, they're flying. They're on SpaceX, and we are still like shooting elephants in the sky. That's what you're doing.
Unbelievable. You know, I want to spice things up with a question that I had people asking me, and I'm genuinely interested in knowing because it seems like Walid Jumblat was kind of a supporter of Nasrallah. Am I wrong? Yeah.
Hell no.
So you mean like he was supporting Nasrallah? Yes.
Of course, yes.
Okay, Nasrallah has been talking for many years about how, Israel is going to be destroyed any second. Look at us, we're going to destroy them. It's just a matter of time. He was so confident and talking about it. And then Israel one day came and literally just pressed one button and deleted Hezbollah, deleted them immediately. Completely disappeared, like humiliating, bahdalathin, zattathin, tayarathin. So the Druze in Lebanon, aren't they like looking like, oh, what happened?
Everybody.
They just actually showed. They just had the Masu'ah, when they light the Israeli torch, they gave the reward for the 3 Mossad people who did it.
I saw
it's a girl and 2 guys. So a girl and 2 guys just said, you know what, khalas, Nasrallah, we got tired of you. Click, delete next.
Exactly.
Mossad took him out. Who's next? So what are they thinking about their batal? Nasrallah. What are they thinking now?
Well, I'll tell you something. When the war, actually, I'll tell you something. I always felt that Gaza is gonna be the turning point in the whole world, and I felt it and I saw it, not knowing any of all the details. And I'll tell you, we've been brainwashed back then, and then soon enough, when things in Lebanon started boiling, we realized that something is not right. And I always said that the poverty level due to corruption led to Israel, and I told them this, led them to Israel infiltrating their own people. Israel has on the payroll half of a Hezbollah. So basically, Israel penetrated for the past 5 years their community. They're there. The problem is the poverty level. And I told them, back in 2006, we can't call Israel an enemy anymore, because back in 2006 we had this war. You claimed the big win, right? Hezbollah claimed the big win. Israel withdrew and went on building their own country and economy. Ever since, okay, so you have to count 2006 till 2024, right? Till the war, like our war.
18
Meanwhile,
years.
Israel went up to becoming to having the third or fourth highest GDP in the Middle East. Okay. Meanwhile, Lebanon is beyond Yemen, like below Yemen. We're at 19. Yes, we're at 19. Israel is at 500 or 600, whatever. So yeah, that's where we are. So basically, Israel is not an enemy. Our enemy is our government. You did not give us any standards of living. You got infiltrated by Israel. So you guys stole all this money and rights. You did not build a country. You did not create good citizens anyway. You were all about bribes and corruption and all the bad stuff that you've done. They didn't create any loyalty. Okay? So what happened is Israel became a monster now compared to you. I mean, her GDP versus yours is just like you cannot match anymore. It's not a war. To me, it wasn't a war. It's just like an elephant stepping on an ant. Like, it's, why are you even
Wow.
fighting? Just shut up and admit it. Like, you are losers. You know what I mean? And Jumblat,
Wow.
by the way, people. So when he kept supporting Hassan Nasrallah, I think right after the pagers. I think it was right after the pagers. People started like raising their voices inside his party, and there's an article where he said, "If you don't like it, resign." He told his people in his political party, "If you don't like my alliances with Hezbollah, then resign." Soon enough, it came out in the newspapers that sanctions are in the horizon or whatever. He went next day and said, we call for 1701. You know what I mean? So he was forced because he's scared, because all the money he stole, him and his wife, is abroad, is in Europe.
Wow. Well, first of all, is Yemen considered richer, the GDP than Lebanon
No.
now?
Yes, look it up. It's at, I think, 26, 25, something like that. We're at 19 or 17.
This is crazy. When me and Khalifa were growing up, I'm sure we're pretty much on the same age. Lebanon used to be like the Paris of the Middle East. I
Thank
remember
you.
watching, as a teenager or as a kid, Lebanese MTV, and I was like, wow.
Yes.
I was like, wait, is that American MTV? Is that Lebanese? I remember like thinking like, wow, these guys
It's
are
nothing like it now. It's nothing like it. I mean, his wife brought in all the refugees. So they decided on the refugees thing, the Syrian refugees, brought them in. It was all like the Nusra and stuff. It was not filtered. It was all political. She made money out of the refugees and built on her Nusra people. And he supported Hezbollah. And as a matter of fact, even before this war, I wrote a meme once. I'm like, if Noura has Nusra and Jumblat supports Hezbollah, what happens when Hezbollah falls and fights with Nusra? Who's gonna win? It was a joke. It happened now.
But I don't understand. You're saying so many things that I can't fathom in my head. Since when do Druze support radical Islam? Since when do Druze support Nusra or Hezbollah?
I have another, like the same question but in a different way. No, now let's just, because the street, the Druze street, just if you had to guess, I know it's not a number, in percentage wise, when people heard that Hassan Nasrallah was assassinated, he's killed, he's gone, how many of the Druze people in Lebanon were actually happy about it?
They were all happy.
No.
Except for, I mean, deep
The
inside,
Jumblattis.
the problem deep inside, they're liars. Deep inside, they're all happy. Because to them, when Hassan Nasrallah is gone, Walid is gonna lose power. You need to remember, there's only like 20 to 30 people benefiting money-wise from Walid and like stealing like the big monsters. Those are the people who really think like him. The rest are forced, basically. You have no option. It's Bashar al-Assad. You have no choice. You have no choice. I mean, you'll be dead. And how? It's a qada or qadar thing. I mean, so many Druze opposed to him died naturally. That's
Yeah,
what he does.
okay, so give me the map, because I know there's Talal Erselan and there's Wi'am Wahab and another political figures. Like the Druze community is a significant part of Lebanon. And if you will say that Walid Jumblat is the far left, he represents a sum of the Druze, who are the other streams of political thought, trying to change? Because I'm seeing Wi'am Wahab. Wi'am Wahab basically said, okay, I was under the occupation of Hezbollah. Once this threat was removed, I can express myself in no, you don't
Let me tell you
agree?
something.
Okay.
So, Wi'am Wahab has been under sanctions since 2007 or 6. It's not now. It wasn't as strong back then. Wi'am Wahab came into the parliament because of the Syrian regime. He was with the Syrian. He never stepped foot in Suwaida. Wi'am Wahab was a product of Iran, and he got finance. I mean, how did he live all this time? Like, think about how did he live
Survive.
and survive financially if he is on sanctions? Okay, he used to get money from Iran. Thing is, he got financed by them. He worked with them. He loved Hassan Nasrallah. But Wi'am Wahab is just like, it's easy for. I mean, let me say it. He's a clown. I mean, he's necessary, but he's a clown. You can't rely on his alliances. I mean, he's funny. He's useful, but he's not the brightest.
Yeah.
The brightest.
He's the media superstar.
Yes, but he gets it. He got it fast. That he's like, okay, I'll switch. To me, he did Saraya Tawheed in 2017. Saraya Tawheed, he got people like Daesh, basically, but for Hezbollah, Druze. He trained them. And they were climbing off the walls. I had it on Twitter. It was a joke. He did Saraya Tawheed. Even in the war, when Walid Jumblat took people like the Shia, but the Hezbollah people into the civilians' towns, and I spoke about it. Wi'am Wahab, there's a video of him and of me responding to him. He's like, if because Druze beat up one of the guys like from Hezbollah, so Wi'am asked for the army to prosecute the Druze for beating up the Hezbollah guy who was stealing the sheikh outfits.
But
Okay.
you
Yes, and he's like بدي فك رقبتهم, and I remember that video. قلت له انا بدي فك رقبتك انه don't
Break
even.
their necks. That's what
Yes.
she said. Yeah.
So basically, Wi'am was not on this side, and then all of a sudden he's like Sheikh Tarif. But again, that's Wi'am.
But you know,
just again, Mansour, because the picture you are picturing now from an Israeli perspective, you're saying you have 100% potential allies because those people were happy when Nasrallah died, but you don't have a leader that you can support in order to do something with this support. You see, because you say, okay, the Druze people are people in Lebanon who has shitty leaders. There's no.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll tell you about Talal. Talal Erslan was pro-Syrian as a friendship. Can you hear me? He had this friendship with them, with the Assads, and to be honest, it helped a lot the Druze. I'll have to say. Okay, so his partner, his alliances, I still like. I mean, I'm not with him politically, like on that side, but I respect the straight line he went through. He did not play left and right. He had this friendship, but he truly used it to help the Druze. So whenever somebody is prosecuted in Syria, Walid used to call him. When May 7th happened in 2008, remember? Walid Jumblat called Talal. So basically, it truly helped us, regardless of what we think about it politically. And Talal has never been against the Druze, and he's always been Druze first. Druze first. And I have cases that happened that where I saw that even the sheikhs go to him and rely on him when there's a problem. And Walid also, despite the fights, he goes to him when he needs to lift him up when he's in deep shit. So basically, Talal, even today, they still ask him, why do you still have the Assad, the picture? He's like, it was here and I'm not going to change it. Because he's not a traitor. Like, Talal is straight line. Agree or not? But yesterday, they asked Talal Ersin, is Sheikh Mowafaq Tarif a traitor? He's like, no, hell no. I mean, you have to call 5 million Arabs traitors if you want to say this. I mean, he's an Israeli. He lives there. Like, what do you expect him to do? So basically, at least, regardless of he's Druze first. We don't have Druze first. Like, Walid is not Druze first.
Of course he's not. Of course he's not. I mean,
yeah.
The only fact that he's supporting Hezbollah is an enemy of the Druze, undoubtedly. Ask the Druze in Syria, and they'll tell you. So the question is, if you look at the Middle East, the only ally that the Druze actually have is the Jews. At least, solid in terms. The only one that didn't try to persecute the Druze ever is the Jews. The Christians also in general, but by majority, the Jews are the only ones that only help the Druze. Yet the Druze in Lebanon choose, or many of them choose, to go and support Walid Jumblat and Hezbollah. And seeing what's happening in Syria, some of them are still, I mean, how can you rationalize that? They're literally killing our brothers and sisters in Syria.
Well,
and it's
media.
The same people.
It's the media. Mansour, it's the media. Walid controls the media. He pays money for and I realized, I didn't know that. People are brainwashed. The left took over the media. Dalia, his daughter, she's married to the LBC guy. LBC guy is Wafiq Safa. He's a Wafiq Safa guy. I mean, the TV, all the people working for this TV, the LBC, is all either far left or Daesh style, like the radical, Sunnis, or Hezbollah or Gibran Basil's people. So it's only the clan of Hezbollah, basically, and the alliances. She went on for 4 minutes tarnishing the reputation of Sheikh Mowafaq Tarif. How? And I was so mad. I remember, I'm like, how would the mashayikh in Lebanon agree that any TV station, regardless of who owns it, tarnish the reputation of a sheikh? You didn't say a thing. But have me go say a word about Sami Abu Muna, there's tons of lawsuits that pop up. Because why? Because I'm I'm insulting a religious figure. I'm like, no, like he is tarnishing the religion.
You're hurting their pocket. You're hurting their pocket. That's
exactly.
That's
so
why.
Walid has no friends, has no enemies. That's a very key thing to answer all your questions. People have they have no decision, but they're ignorant. Druze in Lebanon mostly are ignorant because of him, and they need to remain ignorant. So he always wins. That's why he hates me, because I explain things and I'm controversial. Like, I'm like, no, this is wrong and this is a lie. That's why I'm hated. And in the last podcast that upset the world, he said it. He said social media is hurting us the most. He did say it.
Hurting who?
Him.
Him. Okay, yeah.
Of course, because he's naked now. I think he is like walking naked, running naked.
Yeah. What is it? What is it with the left? What is it with the left? It seems like so many radicals are coming out of the left in the West, in Europe, in Lebanon. Like, how is it that the left, who tries to pretend to be the bearer of the torch of human rights, are always the one that side by side go with the radical who oppress human rights, and even in Lebanon, by what you're saying?
But I'll tell you why. Even the Israeli left is involved. I mean, all those NGOs that started had the Israel. I mean, we have Lebanese people on Israeli with Livni, Steve Tzipi Livni, the ex-foreign minister.
Yeah, well, I just this week I was on a podcast with Reem Sherman, who had you also in Hebrew, and I said, well, I look on Lebanon and I see how the leftist community, George Soros, Kullina Irada. It's like an equivalent of the same movements that we had here in
International
Israel.
Crisis Group. Look it up. International Crisis Group has Alex and George Soros and has Robert Fadel, who is a partner of Walid and all this clan, like the leftists, and it has Tzipi Livni.
You know, in defense of the left in Israel, and I like to bash political parties, but I also like to give respect when they deserve. The left in Israel is not exactly like the left that we see in Europe or in the West. Yes, there are crazy radicals in the left in Israel, but in general, there's also very solid. It's very controlled. Not only there's very good quality people on the left and on the right, it's the extremes. In Israel, it's not as extreme as yet. They're trying to polarize us, but it's not as extreme.
You know why? Because it's better controlled. It's worse in areas like even in Europe, and let's not undermine Macron's effect. But so that's why Europe is different. But for us, it's the ignorance and it's poverty, and it's the money that was spent by the radical leftists. And those support Nusra. They're working for Iran. I mean, they're working for Iran. Our economy is Iran's agenda. It's Hezbollah's agenda.
Nadine, you're living in the US, right?
Yep.
What do you think Americans would have said if right after 9/11, I'm talking right after 9/11, you would have came and told them that soon there will come an Arab man from a Muslim country, a Muslim, who will become so radicalized that he will go and join ISIS at its peak when they were, burning Jordanian pilots in cages and, beheading Americans. And then he will jump ship and join Al-Qaeda. And if that's not enough, he will go and start his own terrorist organization. He'll become wanted terrorist from all these groups. And then he will seize a moment and go and conquer a country, kidnap that whole country, and start ethnical cleansing and a genocide, killing the Alawites, killing the Druze, killing the Christians. And while is that happening, Macron and the EU will invite him to go to France, and we'll have pictures with him, and we'll show videos of him playing basketball while they're trying to kill the Druze. If I would have said that to someone after 9/11, someone that was in Al-Qaeda, the ones that actually made 9/11, the Americans, they will tell me, Mansour, you are crazy. It's happening right now.
Exactly. You know why? You had Obama and Biden. That's why. So if you thought, if this happened, and Trump was like, or a rightist basically was there, that's different. I mean, the world changed ever since Obama. Listen, I had a terrorist sue me in the US during Biden tenure. I mean, just think about it. He's a Hezbollah financier. I spoke about him, and he came here to sue me.
Okay,
that was Biden's time.
No, that's crazy. Yeah, but let's focus on really what's some events started in Syria. There was a massacre. Things here got like me and Mansour were like extremely. It was harsh times, nerve-wracking times, but we somehow things are cooler now. But in the midst of the whole mess, I heard a speech of Walid Jumblat saying like, you went to Israel and you got what you deserve or something like that. He was actually happy of what's happening with the Druze in Syria, saying that they somehow invited this thing because they came to Israel for a religious pilgrimage.
Walid creates scenarios and fights them. I think I told you this once. Like, he creates a scenario in the media and then he starts fighting it himself. So he's but none of it is real. Like when it started with Suwaida, he's like, Sheikh Tarif. I'm like, dude, like, you're arguing, but I mean, you're fighting something that didn't happen. Like, it did not happen. What are you talking about? So that's what he does, because it's his fear. It's his fear. So, and remember, there's no Bashar al-Assad, and there's no Iran, and there's no Hezbollah. So he feels like he has no backbone anymore, and he needs to fight for his presence, for his power. What happened is the weird, what that people did not pay attention to, is that when this voice, like when this recording came out, cursing Nabi Muhammad, not a mufti, not a religious Sunni person, not a president, a governor, anyone from the Sunni religion or the Muslim, like Muslims in general, said a word about this voice. I mean, right? Nothing. The first word, and we didn't even know about it. It wasn't a big deal, right? I mean, it happens. I mean, Your daughter cursed Sheikh Mowafaq Tarif on TV. I mean, it happens. Shit happens, right? He went on, and the first statement he said was, "We condemn the involvement of Israel in Syria." I mean, what the hell? Like, Nabi Muhammad is not Syrian. I mean, right? I mean, what does this have to do with that? And then he goes and we condemn cursing Nabi Muhammad. He never condemned killing the Druze. He never condemned anything, like any of this. And
Yeah.
Sheikh Al-Aqil went and said it's some wrongdoings. He called it wrongdoings, tajawuzat. I lost my mind when I read it. I'm like, people are killed because of a voice note. Plus, when you're saying this about the voice note, it means you're associating it to us. We did not do this. I mean, let's say we did. You go out as a Zaim of the Druze and you go say, well, I disagree that. I mean, you're telling them that we did it while we did not.
You know what? That's pissing me off. Probably the main reason that the Druze in Syria are not being slaughtered right now, like the Alawites and others, is because Israel told Jawlani, not only hands off the Druze, by the way, people kind of like to think that, but Israel told Jawlani, don't even dare to bring your forces southern from Damascus. You bring them there, game on, we're taking them. Because why? Israel doesn't want to have another October 7 at its border, another Hezbollah that want to go and kill. And on the go, they also said, and hands off the Druze. Now, the Druze, most of them are living southern from Damascus. So one of the main reasons that we're having right now only radical lunatics, Muslim Bedouins going and trying to attack, and no one from Jawlani's forces is officially trying to go, is because Israel is defending the Druze in Syria.
Yeah.
So then comes Jumblat, and instead of saying thank you, Israel, or at least keeping his mouth shut, he goes and he condemns Israel. That is a traitor. That is a traitor. He's betraying the Druze. Yeah.
I mean, I'm okay if he condemns Israel and Shara. I'm okay with that. Just, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't like Israel, that's fine. But condemn Shara. You did not. I mean,
like when Shara got his presidency, I guess, or whatever you call it, he went and visited him.
Do you know why?
Do you know why? He didn't meet Hikmat al-Hijra. He didn't go and meet the Druze.
He wanted the smoggling of cement and the smoggling of weapons for his people.
Actually, Nadine, I have a very interesting question that was sent to me right now by someone who loves your work, by the way. I'm not going to share his name, but he's a Druze. And he's saying this, and I would really like to hear what you think about that, because that's very surprising, concerning. He says, in 2021, U.S. aid launched a $29 million project to enhance energy reliability across the country, which include areas within Jumblat's sphere of influence. Similarly, 2023, and $4 million for solar renewable energy, etc. Adopting sustainable energy solution. While these projects are not directly linked to Jumblat been founded by the U.S. aid.
Yeah, of course, and his wife too. That's absolute, but that's not enough. That's a tiny bit. Yes, U.S. aid funded terrorism.
Yeah.
Hell yes, they funded Hezbollah. I said it so many times for the past 4 years. Okay, let me tell you. You've heard about Khudr al-Ghadban, right?
No,
Khudr al-Ghadban is the guy who infiltrated, who was responsible for the Syrian Nusra. He's the Nusra guy. He is the Nusra representative, the Walid Jumblat Nusra representative, basically. He's the PSP also. He had an NGO for hiking and whatever, like greenery and environment, and the stupid shit that him and Noura Jumblat do. You will see it. I posted stuff. US aid funded the natural reserve. All this money did not go on the reserve and on projects. They went to their pockets. They funded terrorism.
Yeah, that's insane. It's
if you can give us an estimate, because you're a banker, you come from this system. Like, if you want to tell us how much money does Walid Jumblat has, because I heard one interview people asking, there's $400 million in foreign bank accounts.
Walid has no less than $1 billion, but in real estate, he has. I can't even process. Because he stole all our properties, the Druze properties. He stole them all. He stole everything.
Why are the Druze keeping him in power? If in Israel we would have had a leader that would be a multi-billionaire like Hamas have, and the people will be starving, they will be walking to the government right now and saying, "No, Habibi,
so you
get
answered
out,
my question.
get out."
So people ask me like, why are you hitting on Jumblat? Like, what if who takes over if he's gone? And I'm like, if we have a freaking government, we don't need him. I need a government. He can't replace the government. He's a freaking liar. And so long as I go, listen. So they cut the water, like they cut the water in one of the villages. So somebody texts me, they're like, Nadine, can you talk about water? Because they get scared when I say something, because they know I will name you and shame you and put your picture out. And that they don't like the Druze don't like this. So they texted me. So I'm like, please, no water in this town. So I sent this person to the basically to the what do you call it? The institution, the public institution, to ask like what's with the water cut off. You know what they said? We
What?
can't turn it on unless you go to Mukhtara. This was 2 months ago. So you cut off the freaking water so I can climb and go to you. So I beg you for my right. So guess
Wow.
what? Well, we don't need a replacement. We just want him gone. Like we want him gone. Like gone. Can we
This is
launch
the
him on
new.
SpaceX? Let's say, can we launch him on SpaceX? Like he'd be a nice accessory. Just like fly off the sky and just leave us alone.
Let's have the Druze girls from Yarka put him on a SpaceX and send him to space so
That
we
would
can
be
see
amazing.
a bigger picture of what is
Well,
happening.
but guess what? It will break because every time he steps foot on something, he breaks it. He ruins it. He went to Jaramana and Sahnaya. Look what happened. He didn't step foot in Suwaida.
Did you
fine.
watch Narcos? Did you watch
Yeah.
Narcos?
No, I
Well,
didn't.
you know, there's one character called the Cockroach. He helped Pablo Escobar build his own empire, and I thought of it like being Syria is a narco state, and I said, okay, well,
Yes.
7, 8 years ago, like in the future, it's probably that Netflix would say, let's do a narco series on the narco state of Syria,
Of
and
course.
Cockroach will be Walid Jumblat.
Well,
He
don't
would be.
underestimate him. Trust me. I mean, today, did you see what he did today? He called Nabih Berri and asked him that the military tribunal, so basically the محكمة عسكرية, for those who don't know, that was basically there was a court order this week in Washington about this tribunal, Fadi Aiqi, that he's a judge who works for Iran. It's a court order in Washington saying that this tribunal works against the civilians. It should be prosecuting anyone from the army, the military crew that does anything like wrongdoing. So they use it to just torture civilians just for personal reasons, basically. And there was a lot of people like called traitors, like Kind al-Khatib. Kind al-Khatib spoke about Hezbollah financier. She ended up in jail, beaten up to death almost, because she's a traitor. Why? Because this Druze judge with Hezbollah, Najat Abu Shara, in this tribunal, that's what she does. Like they call her, okay, like, send her to jail and torture her, beat her up. Not because she's a traitor, because it's fabricated. So now Jumblat today decides that he wants to prosecute any Druze who speaks with Sheikh Mowafaq Tarif or Israeli. It doesn't need to be a truth. Like it doesn't need to be like I don't have that, and my expectation, as usual, he won't be chasing after them. But now he gave the green light. So if Walid Jumblat doesn't like Mansour, he's gonna call them, say, hey, Mansour.
But why?
And then they will raid your house and they will take you and they will make up a file that you're a traitor. You don't have to be even a fan of Sheikh Mowafaq Tarif. You don't have to have his number.
Yeah,
but
but
you will be prosecuted. That's how
You know,
he
Nadine,
uses
I
it.
want to challenge Walid Jumblat. You know, since you insulted our, Mowafaq Tarif Sheikh, let's go to a UFC ring, me and you, like Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. Me and you, one-on-one, no to the death. Me and you,
Yes.
one-on-one, let's solve it right there. You know what? Here's a question that is, Walid Jumblat, from what I'm hearing from you and others, seems to be behaving like a drug lord cartel, mafia head boss.
He has a drug cartel too.
Not surprising. He's oppressing free journalism. He is attacking anyone that is trying to come and criticize him. Now, who do you think is sponsoring Walid Jumblat? We know that USA did that, but they sponsored a lot of terrorists around the globe.
Oh yeah.
Stanley.
Oh yeah.
Who else?
Walid Jumblat steals Druze. You need to understand all the cash generating institutions we have, like hospitals, like Al-Awaf, like all these stuff. They're ours. He took over the Druze rights. Those are our financial rights. He generates money from businesses and illegal businesses. He does the cement. The cement is all smuggled to Syria. He has his ministries, like the education ministry. It's a money maker. Why did he take now the Ministry of Agriculture? Because he knows that there will be funding for agriculture and the rebuilding. The CDR, Majlis Inmاء وإعمار, and Majlis Janub, like the construction, like funding. He steals the government. Like him and Nabih Berri are the top 2 corrupt in the country.
Yeah,
Okay?
it's all
So
fraud
between getting
contracts.
kickbacks from institutions, stealing the ministries that he's in. That's why he chooses ministries not by weight in terms of like the Ministry of Defense. You know, Ministry of Defense, it has weight. We used to have Druze, we used to have it. But he takes the ministries that are right now the beggars. Like, who's the beggar now? We're taking donations from what for what? For education? I'll take education. And now he got those that basically steal money. He money launders. He's a money launderer. Also, he has his people like in banks, and he is a thief. Walid Jumblat should be on sanctions. He works with Gibran Bassil. He has deals with Gibran Bassil, who is on Magnitsky. I mean, the US and the left has been protecting him. Bolton and I don't know who. Those are out of the question now. Walid Jumblat should be on sanctions today, and they should freeze his assets, and the Druze should claim their rights. They should claim everything we have.
Oh my God, that's it all. It's like
Where I live in
someone wrote, it's
South
like
Africa.
where I live, South Africa.
Yeah.
So the corruption states all like it's all same story, different names. But what I'm really intrigued about, like we see this ferocious attack from Jumblat side towards our spiritual leader, Sheikh Mowafaq Tarif. Why him specifically? Like why?
You know why?
Why?
You know, when you're walking into an empty house like at night just to steal everything or to kill somebody, and somebody just turns on the light. Sheikh Mowafaq Tarif was the light. Like he's just turned on the switch, didn't do anything. Notice Sheikh Mowafaq Tarif until now نحترم الزعيم الدرزي, حضرته الزعيم الدرزي. Like he always respected him until today. I never heard Sheikh Mowafaq saying a bad word or even interfering. Yet the bastard keeps like Mowafaq Tarif, Tarif, like that's what he calls him. I mean, even the low grade PSP like Khadr al-Ghadban went on and he's like Mowafaq Tarif. I'm like, what the hell? I mean, I call Sami Abu al-Muna Sami and you curse me and he's a thief. But then you like, how? The problem with me is Mashaykh. I think Mashaykh should take a strong stance now against Jumblat. In my opinion, like as of now, I mean, he's not Druze, his son is not married Druze, his daughter is not. I mean, enough is enough. The line should be drawn. We should be like Israeli Druze and Syrian Druze. We have a spiritual leader, Sheikh Amin al-Salih, who he curses him and his people as well. Just so you don't
Really?
feel like we're the
Seriously?
only ones, of course. And we should have a government. The government will never see the light so long as Walid and Nabih Berri are in, and the idiot, the Nawaf Salam, the new guy, the leftist, he's just like their friend. So long as the radical leftists take over and Walid Jumblat and Nabih Berri are there will be no country, there will be terrorism, and the Druze will be like just stepped over.
But what can they do? I mean, like, do protests against him? Like, what can the Druze people do against Walid Jumblat?
I told them last week. I'm like, you don't have. They're like, what do we do with our people in Sweden? We can't go in Sweden. I'm like, what? You know what you do? Solidarity. Just go block the roads in Mukhtara. Take over Sheikh Al-Aql's house. Just like go block it. That's what you do. That's the support, because the reason for everything that's happening, Lays al-Bal'ous and all the infiltrators are Walid Jumblat. Walid Jumblat is tricking people in Syria so they come back, so they kill them in Sahneya. Walid Jumblat
Please explain the connection between Lays al-Bal'ous and Walid Jumblat. What happened?
Lays al-Bal'ous is Walid Jumblat's guy. So Lays al-Bal'ous and his people. Lays was promised by Walid that, okay, I'll go to Shara and I'll secure a position for you and Maher Sharaf al-Din and Abdel Baqi, I think. And you infiltrate and you stay there, and like they do all the. Walid Jumblat knows how to come in between and just like break any
divide and conquer.
coalition or divide any unity. That's what he's good at. So what he did is he split people. Notice people with Hajari, people ضد الهجري. Like there was the breaking the unity makes him reach his goal. That's what he does everywhere. He even did it with Mashaykh in Lebanon. He always does this because the trouble creates chaos, and chaos makes me relevant because I come in as as Jesus, the savior. That's what he does.
Yeah.
It didn't work in Suwaida because Sheikh al-Hajari was really like tough. He was tough. He did not surrender to all the publicity stunts that he did against him. It did not work. The rumors, everything. However, if you remember New Year's Eve, when Hayat al-Tahrir, they tried to attack Suwaida, it was Khudr al-Ghadban behind it. It was Walid Jumblat behind it. Lays al-Bal'ous. Oh yeah. And when we exposed him, remember, Lays al-Bal'ous said, I was attacked. Somebody bombed my house. Do you remember that story? He made it up just to show that he's a target. I mean, he's no one. He's a piece of shit that was paid by Jumblat to ruin everything in there. And now lately in Sahnaya, his people, the remaining people, the other like arms of Walid Jumblat, they convinced people that, hey, come back. We surrender. We give them back the weapons and everything, and we will take care of it. We got a promise from Shara. That's when they went back, and they got killed. That's what happened. They came in UN cars, stolen UN cars, Jarbua وحناوي. You know what I mean? So basically, when they had three Sheikh Aqil, Jarbua, Hannawi, and Sheikh al-Hajari, Walid Jumblat took over too. And that's when they were never unity. That's why it was never strong.
But the problem is, he holds no official title, and he's like a businessman now, basically. So what do you like? What is it to ask from him? Like, I'm trying to say, what can I do? For example, me as an Israeli Druze, I care for the Druze. I want the Druze people to be more enlightened, but I don't feel like I am in Twitter Spaces. I feel that there's some difficulties that the energy is there, but we don't know where to steer it because, first of all, he's so-called leader, but he doesn't have any official title, and also there's no alternative to what he's offering in terms of Lebanon.
Yeah. What I mean, I personally think with him, like until the sanctions are over his head, I think that Walid Jumblat, there's no solution for him. He is sick, like seriously sick, and he is so scared. He's terrified, basically. He's never. I mean, Hassan Nasrallah was never, even in the beginning, 2005, when he was so against him, or Bashar al-Assad when he went and cursed him. He never hated anyone. Sorry, like he hated Sheikh Mowafaq Tarif. I've never seen anyone he hated that much. Like, I've never seen a war taking that long between him and somebody, because he usually like raises the bar and then so he can get something. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I expected.
Honestly,
I expected that he will, like, I will ask for something. Now,
honestly,
what I
wow.
think is that the responsibility is not the Israeli Druze. It's not your job or my job or the Syrian Druze. It's the job of the Lebanese Mashayikh now. I mean, Sheikh Mowafaq is the spiritual leader in Israel. Sheikh Hajari is the spiritual leader in Syria. Our Sheikh is a parrot, and he's a puppet, basically. So he's irrelevant. We need the spiritual leaders, yani basically Sheikh Amin Sayegh, Sheikh Anwar Sayegh, and all the other ones. They're 9, I think. They need to step in now. I mean, I can't rely on Israel to take over the weapons and clean up the south. And I can't. We are Lebanese. We are Druze. We have to fight for our own rights. What
It's
needs to happen is
insane.
the Mashayikh needs to say enough. You're not Druze. Step out, and we're taking over.
It's insane how people forget so easily that Israel is probably the only chance for stability in the Middle East right now. Literally, if it wasn't for Israel, Assad would not be down. Yes, they chose to change it with another radical jihadist. If it wasn't for Israel, Nasrallah and Iran will be still destroying Lebanon. But a question about something that someone asked me that, I'm really interested to hear what you have to say. What is the Matatrun?
Metatron.
Is this
I'm a big
Jumblat
fan
guy
of
asking?
Metatron. Like I
Is
wait
this
for the
Jumblat
moment.
asking?
No, I think he's not a Jumblat at all. I think he knows that this is something that is very, very spicy for the Lebanese people. It's something that is going on
Metatron is an
all
account.
the way up to Lebanon right now, arresting Druze that are blaming them to be the ones that actually started that account, because that account is making Jumblat look very, very bad.
God, yeah, I know.
So do you mind opening the Metatron for us?
He's a Druze Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne. What's the name of this guy that fled to Russia? That WikiLeaks. You know the guy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's
Snowden. Edward Snowden.
Snowden.
Well,
It's like the Snowden of the Druze.
Metatron. I'll tell you what. Metatron is more of a. It's more of a ideology, I think. Metatron was, I would say, another line that walked in parallel. So I was exposing politics and corruption. Metatron was more on the spiritual, religious side. Just like I told you about the switch light, it was a switch light. Also, it was an identity, and it was a comfort to Druze. And he did what the Mashaykh cannot do or cannot say, because it's the istitar and it's the aib, and Lebanon is a different animal, by the way. So what Metatron did is he enlightened the Druze, and he woke us up basically, and he made every cause or issue that he took the religious side of it, which entered into the mashaykh's hearts basically, and other people. So whoever thought that, oh well, Nadine is crazy, Nadine is kaza, Nadine is hardcore like fighter, but Metatron was the light, the light, the lullaby. He was the lullaby that goes in, just like hypnosis, and hypnotized the Druze. That's why Walid he hates Metatron. He had all the security and the intel in Lebanon work on finding out who is Metatron, who is who Nadine talks to, and who is Metatron. If somebody tells him who Metatron is, he would make him president right now.
Oh my God.
Il Shara. I think Il Shara is Metatron. Go meet with him.
Exactly. And as a matter of fact, in the municipality elections, in the boxes, in the votes, they had Metatron in the boxes.
Yeah, the guy that I was talking to just
I
told
know.
me that. He told me that they started voting for Metatron, and that
Yes.
he probably hates Metatron more than he hates Mowafaq Tarif. What if he find that Mowafaq Tarif is in Metatron?
Well, listen, he thought that Metatron is somebody in his own, like in Mukhtara. He did think like he was. I mean, it's very confusing to him. He'll never find out.
Good.
Yes.
Good. That makes
People say
Metatron
that
is loved by every Druze.
Yeah, and like you need to be quite a character. Like he joins our spaces, never speaks any word.
I know.
Like,
I mean,
I
it's
love that
security.
about this
Listen,
man.
Metatron, if Walid finds out who Metatron is, he'd be dead next day. No, same day.
That's yeah.
Oh,
The
no,
fact that
like
Metatron
Metatron, if
pisses Walid
somebody
makes me
finds
happy.
out,
Makes me happy.
yeah.
Have you seen Family Guy, Khalifa? There's a point where
Hebros and Shibros comes from family.
so there's a
Come on.
point where he's sitting in an elevator with God. Have you seen that episode? And he's
I
asking
can't
God like
remember.
questions and all those things, and then he asks him like, "Do atheists also go to hell?" And God is like, "Of course they go to hell. They're the first one to go to hell." He's like, "Good. That makes me happy. That makes it's like so random, so random." So does Metatron piss Jumblat? Yes, that makes me happy. I don't know what's not makes me happy. That makes me happy. Good.
And the thing is, now people like
That's
say,
my Peter Griffin
I mean,
here.
now people say like, why is Metatron quiet? If Metatron stays quiet one day, people ask, and then they use him as a reference, so you hear it among people like, Metatron said it. Well, Metatron said it. Walid Jumblat doesn't like the truth. He lives a lie. I mean, he lives a lie that he's a Druze. I mean, his existence is a freaking lie.
Yeah. I want to have a shirt of Metatron. You
We
know,
should
now that I
actually. I
know
was
that
thinking. I told Metatron. I told we should have a fundraiser, like a Druze
all the
fundraiser
three
for
of us
Swaida and all of us,
uh,
and have this T-shirt with Metatron,
and call a
and just like
fundraising with the throne.
make it. Yes, make it a statement. Yeah, we should. I mean, we should, because he hates anybody who is who tells the truth. That's it. But just tell the truth, and you're in trouble.
Nadine, sorry, Khalifa, I know we're coming close to the end. What do you think the Druze in Lebanon think about Israel right now?
Listen, Israel was one thing before Gaza again, and I think Sheikh Mowafaq Tarif, and I'm not saying this just like I'm telling you honestly.
Please,
If
only honestly, we
Israel was
respect
a
each other here.
monster, was an enemy, was whatever you want to call it, I think Israeli Druze and Sheikh Mowafaq painted Israel differently. I talk about it from a different personal perspective, and I talk about it from what I see, because I'll tell you, pictures of Walid Jumblat in the most Jumblati homes in the closest areas in the Jabal were taken down. Pictures of Sheikh Mowafaq are up. Profile pictures.
Really?
Oh yeah, profile picture. One day I'll give out the names. Profile pictures on the phones of Mashayikh is all Sheikh Mowafaq. This was a taboo. Like you cannot do this. I
In
was
Lebanon?
shocked before March 16th when he did the Kamal Jumblat memorial. That's when it all flipped. People did not go. There was no mashayikh there. People did not go because he insulted Sheikh Mowafaq Tarif. People on Facebook, Lebanese Druze, have Sheikh Mowafaq. I mean, you cannot have an Israeli guy on a profile picture in Lebanon. I mean, that's a taboo. It's a taboo. So
Wow,
Israel
that is
changed
crazy.
because and actually I have to say we were lost, and we were like ashamed to say we're Druze because of the Hezbollah alliance and the flip-flopping of Walid Jumblat. Basically, I personally felt it, and most people in Lebanon, Druze, they felt that Sheikh Tarif put Druze on the map again and put us on the international map. And as a matter of fact, who would say that one day I'll wake up seeing that the State Department mentioned Druze.
Yeah.
Okay, it was never mentioned. Look it up. It was never brought up. It was not. I mean, when we used to say Druze, they would say Jews, like they because Druze is not a word. Like
Or
here,
Druid.
I'm talking
They
here,
think I'm a druid running in the forest praying
right?
to
I mean,
trees.
in the
Yeah.
U.S., Druze, like in the Jews, I'm like Druze, like it's hard. So, and I'll tell you, Sheikh Tarif put Druze on the map, and that's something every Druze is grateful for.
Yeah.
And Sheikh Mowafaq Tarif changed the picture. I mean,
Yeah. You know what? Sheikh Tarif put the Druze on the map. I 100% agree. And I want to take my hats off also to the Druze in Syria, the one that are standing strong against the worst kind of tyranny.
yes.
An army of 100,000 strong coming to siege them, to take them. The government that is demanding that they lay down their weapons while the terrorists can keep their weapons. Why? Because they want to disarm the Druze, because they want to massacre them. And the Druze there are feeling alone. They're standing there. They don't know who's backing them up, while these jihadists are being backed by
Yes.
Turkey and who knows what. They're standing there in their mountain, solid, strong,
That's
proud, and saying, bring it on. Anyone who
Yeah.
want to come to our mountain, come here. You'll go back in coffins. And they're
Exactly.
saying, we will not surrender our weapon. We will stand here. Our face is for peace. The Sheikh, when he talked when he talked about it, says these weapons are weapons for defense, not for assault. Anyone who comes and
Exactly.
tries to take
We're not
we will
terrorists.
take it. And these Druze right now in Syria are showing the world what is true bravery it is. They barely have food, guys. They barely have water. They're getting paid $17 a day. That's the amount of money they're having. That's not enough to survive. They need to work 3-4 jobs and send their children to the front line to stand night and day. There is people in the front line that have no weapons. There's
Yeah.
one guy with a weapon and 10 guys behind him and saying, you know what, we're going to be here. And we're gonna
It
fight.
happened with Hezbollah, Druze and Hezbollah before. Yes, it
Yeah,
happened
and
with
they're
us in
standing
May.
strong, and these guys have put Druze on the map to the world to see
That's
what is
true.
a brave, true nation of peaceful, freedom lover nation that just want to live. They just want to be left to live and practice and to
But I'll
be
tell you
loyal to their
something.
land.
I'll tell you an important, and it's good to say it now, because I got a call today from somebody from Swaida, and he said that I want to pass on a thank you for everybody who was working with the social media to raise the voice, because what you guys did, and he said it, and I know it's Israeli Druze and us basically. He said that what you guys did in the media was 10 times stronger than weapons. What can weapons do? Because he said that. And it was very touching, to be honest. Like he was like, you are our voice, because we don't have access to media, and jihadists have the strong, you know what they have, like they have a digital army basically of lies about Sharia. So he said that what you guys did on the social media was tremendously important, way stronger than weapons.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I declared a jihad on Julani. I don't know if you heard about it. I said, my name is Khalifa. They want a caliphate. Then my Khalifa is going jihad on you now.
Yeah. Nadine, you made me emotional right now. I gotta admit, you made me emotional. I started tearing up.
Yeah, it was really nice.
No, seriously, it's, all my life, I lived my own secular Druze life. I did whatever I want, traveled the world. I never thought that I'll be coming and standing for my brothers and sisters of the Druze to advocate for them. It was never on my agenda. Not that I love them; it's my people.
Well, we all did that. I told
you,
it's the
my plans were
identity.
completely different plans. But seeing that the Western media is not talking about it, CNN, definitely not the leftist media, they're just ignoring. There is a possible massacre that is coming to our people in Syria, and no one is talking about it. And that's why anyone that is sitting here, I see 337 people live watching this video. Guys, thank you so much. Seriously, thank you, anyone that is coming to live to watch here. Help us spread this message. The people in Syria need us. The Druze in Lebanon need you. Every Druze, probably except the ones in Israel, because they're not living under oppressive regimes right now, need you right now because their voices are being shut. People are threatening. Nadine here had to flee her country because she exposed, corruption among the government and among the Druze there. Please help share these videos, help this voice, because Western media is not doing that. They're not talking in newspapers.
Mansour, one more thing. They call Netanyahu the monster, right? And that's what Walid Jumblat says, like the agendas he has, the monster he is, right? But I have one message to tell him. And to just raise the flag on this particular point. Israeli Druze went and protested in front of Netanyahu's home.
Yeah.
Okay? We cannot even say a word on social media about Walid Jumblat.
Wow. Yeah.
And that explains who the monster is.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I must say, Nadine, what you are doing is really inspiring. It gives a lot of time. We say we're not tough. We haven't through 1/6 of what you ever had in your life dealing with those things. And thank you for leading by example. I hope that any English-speaking Druze, no matter where are you, come speak with us. Even if you don't agree with us, come and step forward. Let's discuss those things, because we all share this enormous love to our community, our Druze people who are so amazing, the history, the heritage, so many things to be proud of, and we need to show the world, and the world really looks forward to see us, and we need to show all the perspectives and discuss those things, because we care of our Druze friends, especially in Syria, not only in Syria and Lebanon and Jordan, all over the place, and we want to have peace, to have you, Nadine, here in Dalet El Carmel, and we'll go to Beirut.
It's easier than going to Lebanon, for sure.
We need to have action figures of Nadine. I tell you guys what, if you, whenever next time you go and you watch this purple haired girl that is sitting, in a coffee shop in a Starbucks and just condemning the West and feeling like she's a brave activist because she hates Donald Trump and she doesn't shave her armpit.
And she has that,
Yeah, exactly. You need to watch people like Nadine, like Birgit, also from Lebanon. What's her name? Brigitte, exactly. The sacrifice that a woman from the Middle East need to make to have her voice like this, the price that she would pay, you can't even begin to understand. The threat to her life. Just go back to the kitchen is the least that will tell her. The least. We're talking about the risk of life, beating, humiliation, I don't know what, for her family having to disown her. Some of them because they maybe not agree with her, but some of them because that's the way to save their life. So they'll come and say it.
It's so just like the Julani work.
It's just like the
You're-
Jelani. So
Yeah.
Nadine, thank you so much. You are a
Thank you,
real
guys.
hero. You are, honestly, I take my hat for you. You're an inspiration.
Thank you.
And I wish to see more Druze and Arab women
I hope so.
standing and speaking just like you are, and Western women as well, but not purple hair,
Yeah.
unshaved armpit girls who just hate the West. Something that have logic. Bring some logic to the table.
Exactly.
Let me just say, you haven't seen the beginning of it because we are plotting and we are conspiring and we are dealing a lot of surprises ahead. And
I know. And I'm looking forward.
Where is my cat when I need to have my cat like my
Run
evil
around and
stance?
pet your cat like from Mr. Gadget.
We're plotting. We're plotting. You haven't heard our last vote.
Yeah.
Nadine, thank you
Let's
so
see what
much. It's such
happens.
a privilege.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nadine.
Bye bye, everybody.